What's good, everybody? Welcome in to the Early Edge, your daily sports betting brand of record. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all of sports betting, and it's not close. For those of you who missed the live show last night, welcome to the new friendly confines, the brand new studio, thanks to CBS Sports and, of course, the bosses at SportsLine. Now it's time to get to work. But before we look forward, as always, we must look back. Last night, we told you, be very, very careful with the Bears and Commanders game. Ugly. However, we did get some check marks, even though it was, again, a stinker of a Thursday night game. But you know what really helps me is when I can look forward to our props spectacular later today with Prop Stars and Uncle Dave and C and Najad. And then, of course, our big-time shows on Sunday, 3, our morning show. Then, of course, 12 noon and 7:30 p.m. Eastern at night. But what really gets me in a good mood on a Friday, you know who's here. Look at my faces. Look who I have. Let's go. Now, first and foremost, this man has been slaying it in FCS, in the CFL. Things that you don't want to talk about at parties. He does. Emory Hunt, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Yes, I do the work so you don't have to. Again, everyone is talking about Alabama, Tennessee, justifiably so, but Alabama State, Tennessee State is where you make a ton of money. I'm not saying they play each other this weekend. I'm just saying the value is in these games that no one pays attention to. That's how you can make tuition. That's how you send your kids off to college. That's how you buy the Knight Rider machine, all that stuff based off these games that nobody want to talk about.
Interesting advice. Now, you mentioned Tennessee. From Nashville, Tennessee, Music City, the 8 floors below our 5-tool player. AB, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Emory. Good morning, Chip. Good morning, everyone in the Early Edge crew. Look, Emory's not lying. And I'll say this. I live about 15 minutes away from TSU. Head coach, Eddie George, by the way. Dog's getting it going. Look, man, he ain't lying, dude. Emory, and you can see in the chat right here. Look, Emory is a dog. Emory Fridays. Emory win me money. Look, I love this Friday show between him and Chip and you. I'm just glad to be a part of it. It's fantastic. It's become my favorite show of the week. Absolutely.
Do you go out on Thursday nights, AB?
No, but I'll tell you what. I'm about to start going out on Thursday nights because I'm canceling this Amazon Prime subscription. I don't care.
I love Al Michaels.
Yeah, I'm done with these.
80 years old. He doesn't care.
I'm done with these Thursday night games. I'm finished with them. I'm done.
Man. It's fun just to listen to Al Michaels. He's like, this is what now I'm getting a lot of money, but I'm 80. I just wanted some good football. And Herb Street's like, this is my first NFL assignment?
Dude, the funniest part, Coach, was last week. Al Michaels looked like he was done. Like you said, he was ready to just go home and retire. And somebody on Twitter said, Kirk Herbstreit, like a professional, he's called Big Ten West games. Like he was built for this.
Built for this. Hardcore.
And lastly, Carson Wentz. Now, 8 straight primetime covers, 7 straight Thursday night football wins. I told you, Carson Wentz is built for primetime. This man just continues to do it. It's nuts.
Boys, last night, AB single-handedly tried to bring down the show by saying, and I guess correctly, Carson Wentz was built for primetime, which no other show has ever said in the history of football. Now, finally, he is the only man that can match my energy day in and day out. And he's also a savage when it comes to, well, pretty much anything. Chip Patterson, good morning, sir.
Good morning, and I have the antidote for your Thursday night sickness. We had a banger in the Big 12. West Virginia 43, Baylor 40. We had a blocked extra point returned for 2 points the other way. Totally flipped this game on its head. I don't know if you also saw, but UCF, Gus Malzahn taking off, going to the moon in his NASA suit. They put 70 on the board against Temple. All the points that y'all were missing on the streaming services, we had them in college football, and Thursdays are only going to get better. I don't like to do the watch my sport's better. All sports are awesome, but I can tell you that Thursday nights we have the antidote for these bad NFL games, and it's over here in college.
Well, I tell you what, that's the only thing that saved my bankroll last night was UCF. I played them team total, the spread. We had them all. Guess what? SportsLine simulations had them bearing Temple. And that's what you get when you're a SportsLine member. And I'm going to do you a solid right here, right now, before the storylines. Use the promo code early We'll give you 30 days for free. You get all my guys you see on the screen right now and so many more. You all know what kind of a value it is, but we got to get into our day today because we got a lot of this to make. So, Chip, I'm coming right back to you. Storylines that could affect the betting lines today. We're talking about quarterbacks that are hurt. Start us off.
Yeah, well, we're looking at a line in Alabama, Tennessee, where Bryce Young, I think, is expected to play. If Bryce Young, for some reason, is ruled out, Nick Saban has been a little cagey about this, then we are going to see this line have a dramatic adjustment. So you always want to keep that in mind. But it feels like our pets' heads are falling off because we saw Blake Shapen go down for Baylor on Thursday night. We know that Will Levis has been a little bit shaky, but it looks like he's going to play against Mississippi State. KJ Jefferson hopes to make a return for Arkansas against BYU. Devin Leary will likely be out as NC State goes to take on undefeated Syracuse. Jalen Daniels is not going to be in the lineup as Kansas takes on Oklahoma. Tommy DeVito is not going to be in the lineup as Illinois takes on Minnesota. All over the place. And this is why it's important, because you need to know, yes, the status. Make sure you're following the beat writers. Make sure you're following the insiders, but also know what the backup is like, because there are some situations, like I would argue maybe with Jason Bean, Kansas's backup Jalen Daniels. We just saw Bean throw 4 touchdowns in the second half against TCU. How much of an adjustment do you make? Maybe not much. So in all these situations, you want to know what is the latest on this quarterback injury, but more importantly, in my opinion, what does the backup look like, and how does that impact the way that they're going to call the game, the way they're going to play the game? All important stuff to keep an eye on as you're looking ahead to the weekend.
Educate and entertain, ladies and gentlemen. Educate and entertain. Listen to the information. That's what it is all about. Now, Emory may not be on this game, but I know one person on our crew that is absolutely dialed in every single time the Tennessee Volunteers take the field. Huge game this week. AB, you're up.
Yes, sir. And let me understand, like, I need to break this game down historically so everyone understands what we're getting into. All right, this game, Alabama at Tennessee, nicknamed the third Saturday in October. I was born on the third Saturday in October. I've literally been around this game my entire life. Look, it has been going in streaks ever since the 50s, all right? 50s and 60s, Tennessee ran it. Then a guy named Bear Bryant came in. He ran it throughout the 70s for Alabama, all right, through the mid-80s. Tennessee ran through it in the 90s with Johnny Majors, Philip Fulmer, Peyton Manning, all of them into the early 2000s. And then we've seen Nick Saban go on his streak. It's been about streaks. In fact, in 1992, when the SEC went to the East and the West, they split Tennessee and Alabama on both sides so that they wouldn't play each other to go to the conference championship game. And funny enough, they've never played in the conference championship game. But I say all that to say this. This game is built on streaks. And you look at these two teams, they are built on their quarterbacks. As Chip mentioned, Bryce Young for Alabama, Hendon Hooker for Tennessee. If either of these quarterbacks go out, these are two completely different teams. We're going to see the line drop on this game. And what I'm saying is this: Tennessee has been the most consistent team this season compared to Alabama, 100%. So there are 3 game scripts the way that this thing could go. Alabama could win big, Alabama could win tight, or Tennessee could win big. I don't see Tennessee winning a close game. So if you are having Tennessee cover the spread, go ahead and put it on the money line too, because that's how these streaks have gone. The minute that you think a team is not capable of winning, they usually do.
There are 2 things that the audience is thinking right now. I thought AB only made it past 10th grade history. And was that a Prop Stars style take for AB on the morning show today? Was that very Alex-esque?
It's the only thing that I know, right? So I got an A in this in school. Everything else, geometry, I can't even spell it, but I do understand this.
Understand. Now, we got to get to our board. That was very, very good. Hopefully you all listened to that. All right. Now, we don't have a site play today. Why? Because when we have a handicapper who is so hot and also plays leagues and games and platforms that nobody else plays, I want more of that. So before we get to our board, we got to pay those pesky little bills. Here's a word from one of our incredible partners. And we are back. Those of you watching on YouTube, welcome to Early Edge, powered by SportsLine. Those of you listening on Apple and Spotify, we value you as well. We are at that time where we put the games in and we just sit back and say, cash, 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 cash. Emory Hunt, you know what time it is. Let's go.
Appreciate that, Coach. And listen, it's all about Friday. I want to give a lot of Friday plays. And, to start it off, we're going to look at UTSA and FIU. And in the words of our great American fictional poet Thugnificent from the Boondocks cartoon, and I looked at FIU versus Western Kentucky, I just sat back and said, what did FIU do to make them that mad? They beat these dudes 73-10. Like, what happened? Or 73-0, I'm sorry. So naturally, when you look at this line saying 63 points total between UTSA, who has a fast offense, pun intended, they are the road runners, against FIU, who struggles offensively, UTSA may win this game 62-0 by themselves, but that will put you under. I struggle to see how they're going to completely beat the brakes off of FIU. They will win handedly, but they want to save a lot of their bullets for next week as they take on North Texas and what will be a battle for first place in Conference USA. So just on the strength of them having mercy for FIU and their struggles right now, I don't know what they did to Western Kentucky to make them that mad to where they beat them 73-0. I'm going to go under the total here for FIU UTSA. Now, we have smart football. Princeton, they're taking on Brown tonight in the Ivy League game on Friday night. Princeton's 20.5-point favorites. Firstly, lay the points with Princeton. Here's why. They're giving up only 9 points a game. They're 1.9 yards a carry on the ground they're giving up. 5.5 yards a pass attempt. They are yamming folks up like Kojak with his collar popped up in the New York City streets, right? They are not moving the football. Brown will not be able to move the football. Princeton beat a very good Columbia team last week, 24-6. Brown is going to find the struggle bus heavily on the banks of the Raritan tonight in Princeton, New Jersey. Another Friday play, we go to the CFL. Ottawa takes on Montreal. Ottawa recently fired their head coach, Paul LaPolice, who was fantastic defensively. Problem was, in the CFL, where points are abundance, they were only scoring like 13 points a game offensively. They were losing games 19-13. They couldn't score. Last week, they hired their interim coach in Bob Dice, who found some offense. They scored 24 points last week. They got to win. So I feel as though because of that element, they already had a great defense. Jalen Ackland is a fantastic receiver. Take these 3.5 points in Ottawa. In the last CFL game we have, Calgary takes on Hamilton. Calgary is playing lights out right now. They're trying to build that great momentum going into the playoffs. Hamilton still is fighting for a playoff positioning and a playoff berth. They have a chance to really steal that crossover playoff spot away from Saskatchewan. And so they're going to play, both teams are going to play really hard in this game. So they're not sitting guys. So I look at Calgary with 7.5 points, laying those 7.5 points with the Stampeders, because I feel like because of their ability to score, Kadeem Carey is a terrific running back. They're trying to win this ball game. I think they beat them by more than a touchdown. And also Saturday, James Madison, welcome to the FBS, top 25 ranking, 1.5 point favorites. I think they take care of business, lay those points with the Dukes. Campbell, I put Campbell in here because no one talks about the job that Mike Minter has done down there in Bowie's Creek, North Carolina. And we just got the news that Kennesaw State is going to the FBS Conference USA. With what Campbell has built over the last 7 years, don't be surprised to see them also get a call up to go to Conference USA because of where they're located and what they're building down there, how good they are. I did a game back in 2016 or 17, I believe it was, Mike Minter's first year, when they played Georgetown, and we're on the field, and off the bus, we're looking at Campbell take the field and just warm up. And like, they're built like a damn FBS team. And so I think with these 22.5 points, you can lay them comfortably with Campbell this weekend. And BYU is a pick 'em over Arkansas. Should be a fun game. Arkansas, to me, still a little bit banged up. You don't know which Arkansas team you're going to get. I think BYU, because of the continuity they have, I like them in a straight-up win over Arkansas.
Pooh Bear in the chat said Campbell is going to challenge NDSU in the FCS. So you got people starting to think, Emory. You're starting people out. You know, it's not just about FBS.
I wouldn't go that far. Like let's try to stay on the East Coast first and try to challenge, maybe someone within the CAA. Let's not go knock on Brutus's door and ask for Brutus to come outside and see you. Nah, we're gonna go wait a little bit. Let's get them going.
Yeah, Emory's got the full top 25 FCS power rankings. He can tell you clearly how they all stack up against each other. And it's like, yeah, what Campbell is building from the infrastructure down there in Bowie's Creek is absolutely going to get a look from Conference USA. But you're talking about the dynasty that they got going out there with the Bison. You got to be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, right.
Damn
Because
right.
again, we were shocked that they lost to Arizona in a game that they were favored in. It was like, wow, they lost to Arizona? Like, damn, yeah, there's an FBS team with 20 plus more scholarships. Of course they lost, but we're shocked when North Dakota State loses. They have a big game this week in the Dakota Market game against their rival South Dakota State. I'm not picking a game, and I'm not picking a side now. That's a tough game. That's going to be a fun game.
You already have 7 picks. We're good.
Okay.
We're good. All right, now, that's just the beginning. AB, let's go.
Yes, sir. Let me say this. It's impossible to follow up every. My man just gave a Boondocks reference, all right? Gave picks in 2 different military jurisdiction time zones, okay? And let me say this real quick. Yeah, exactly, right? And he brought up James Madison. I used to work with a couple dudes who played at James Madison. Them boys have been doing this for a minute. It's a mindset with James Madison. Like, they are built to go. I absolutely love everything about that program. We get 2 plays here. First, we're going to go Braves team total over 3 against the Phillies on the road. Look, 3 is the magic number when you're betting team totals in the MLB postseason. All right. Once you go above 3, good luck. It's tough. It's tough to get there. You might do it. The Astros, they tend to do it consistently more than anybody else, but it's tough. But when you could go to Caesars and you could get it right at 3, that's the way to do it. They're facing Aaron Nola today. The Braves will get there. Second, Alabama at Tennessee. Tennessee first quarter at home +3. +3. You're giving me points with Tennessee in the first quarter. We've been cashing this thing all year long. We're going to roll again. We've never gotten points in this one, but we're going to do it. Tennessee is the highest scoring team in the country, highest scoring team first quarter in the country, highest scoring first half team in the country. We're going to roll that. If you don't like this, play the over 14. You can get it at an even number of 14 because if Tennessee doesn't cover +3, that means Alabama scored 17 points, right? So if you don't like this one, play the over 14. But yeah, we're going to go Tennessee first quarter +3, Braves team total over 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, please let me tell you, public service announcement. If AB is playing a Tennessee play
go.
Go. They come out of the gates. I don't know what it is about this team fast every single time. And their defense doesn't, which allows points. But it's crazy. It's absolutely
the equation
crazy.
Is there. It's consistent.
Yes, it's consistent. It's crazy. By the way, baseball today, because of rainouts, there's 3 games. I want to make sure you guys have the start times. 1:07 for the Guardians, Yankees, Eastern time. Braves, Phillies, 4:37. And then the Padres hosting the Dodgers tonight. That series tied at 1 at 8:30 Eastern time, about 50 miles from where I am sitting right now in this gorgeous new studio that Chip Patterson wishes that he had. Now, Chip, it's just me and you. And I know you are laser focused, all kidding aside, that you are ready for all the good people that show up on a Friday morning to see you and Emory and maybe AB. But we are ready for you to handle Maestro's spot. The floor is yours.
Let's get it started in the American Conference on Friday night where we've got some action. We got Navy going on against SMU. And what does Navy do really well, Chip? Well, Chip, what Navy does really well is run the ball. What does SMU do really poorly? Well, SMU is really bad at defending the run. Number 103 nationally in terms of rushing defense. That's not good, and we get a whole boatload of points, Navy reference, as we get to saddle up with the midshipmen. And I think that this is a Navy team that honestly has turned a corner. We saw them put it on Tulsa 53-21. They've got a couple of conference wins, and I think that when you are playing within that offense and playing with that team, the kind of rhythm that you are in is so important. Navy is playing with great rhythm. SMU, by the way, has lost 3 straight. And again, that defense is incredibly suspect. So I like being able to get Navy. I like being able to get this big number. And you're talking about keeping it close, limiting possessions, keeping the ball out of SMU's hands. All works in our favor as we take Navy plus the big number. Turn the page to Saturday. We're going to start with the Clemson Tigers. Man, this line is little. Clemson, 3.5 against Florida State. Do I think that Tallahassee will be rocking? Yes. But this Florida State team, for all the positivity and momentum that we had at the beginning of the season, the injuries have started to pile up. And I think that we saw in that NC State game, there is no trust with this kicking situation. Every single point counts. Big game Dabo likes to let his defense go and win the game. And that defense is getting healthier. Brian Brzee, we expect he's going to be back. Xavier Thomas, we expect he's going to be back. KJ Henry has been an absolute monster. And I think that Florida State offensive line is really going to struggle in the trenches. Clemson is going to slowly pull away from Florida State. And look, this is the last conference road game that Clemson's going to play the entire season. They've got one trip left to go to Notre Dame in November. But in terms of ACC play, this is their 4th road game. I think they bring a lot of fire, intensity, lead with defense, win this game, cover this spread. I had to go and look at the battle for the victory bell, North Carolina and Duke. And honestly, I would have played Duke if the Duke team that's taking the field on Saturday night was the Duke team from 3 weeks ago. But the injuries are starting to pile up there too. And Mike Elko in his first year has not built out this roster to a point where they can sustain those kinds of injuries. They do not have that competitive depth that you need. It is especially piling up on the defensive side of the ball. So we're going to go North Carolina team total over 37.5. And I don't know if y'all seen on social media, but the chromes that North Carolina is going to be wearing in this game, the chrome helmets are just, they scream tutties. I mean, it is the kind of helmet that you want to see somebody moving very, very quickly down the sideline in. So we're going to take North Carolina team total over 37.5. And then finally, one last piece of injury news that I did not get a chance to mention in my intro in the storylines because I didn't want to spoil my pick. We're going to San Jose State covering the number against Fresno State. Fresno State's offense has been a mess since they lost Jake Haener a couple games ago, and Logan Fife has struggled. 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. San Jose State's defense is legit, and the Spartans are starting to turn the corner where it looks like, wow, this is maybe the best team in the Mountain West. They put 40 on the board against UNLV last week. They lead with defense, but now they're starting to show that they can score as well. So we'll take San Jose State against a Fresno State team that's still a little banged up, and just a little cherry on top of this pick. I think they're going to be celebrating like a Devontae Adams night. Do you want those vibes? Do you want the Devontae Adams vibes around your team right now? I seen that man run into his own teammate and a photographer within an hour and a half span. I don't think that those are the vibes. So we're going to go San Jose State into Devontae Adams night. They get the win and the cover.
No. I get it. My guys are the best. I know you want them on your show. I get it. But I get it. But they're mine. Stephen A. Smith.
Hey, Coach, can I ask a favor?
Of course.
All right. Everyone that is betting college football beyond this Saturday, the rest of the season, Chip, I want you to give that Clemson stat again because it's incredible that it's October 14th. Go ahead.
Oh, on October 15th, Clemson will play its final conference road game. They have already been on the road against Georgia Tech. They've already been on the road against Boston College. And they've already been on the road, I don't know, wherever the third game is. But Florida State, this is going to be the last one. Wake Forest, the huge 51-45 shootout. So all the road tests and conference play are out of the way. Clemson is on its way to locking this thing up.
I'm just mad we didn't get I'm just mad we didn't get a Chips Ahoy reference
for the Navy.
You blew it, Chip. You blew it.
Wow. Ahoy there!
Wow. All right. Grab your paper. Grab your pencil. Here is the recap, courtesy of Jake the Snake on the ones and the twos. And we have a lot for you this morning, but don't forget, 3:30 Eastern, special start time on Fridays for Early Edge and 5. And then, of course, our props extravaganza at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Emory Hunt, 7 big plays split up between Friday and Saturday. Princeton minus 20.5. Ottawa, CFL plus 3.5. Look what Jake did there. Calgary minus 7.5. Then a little UTSA, FIU under 63. James Madison, built for this, AB says, minus 11.5. Campbell minus 22.5. And BYU is a pick'em. Chip is on Navy plus the 12.5. Clemson minus 3.5. You heard all the incredible stats there. UNC team total over 37.5. But they can't stop anybody. This should be a shootout. And San Jose State minus 8.5. And then AB's on the Braves team total over 3. We'll have more plays for the late baseball games on the later show. And then Tennessee play that first quarter plus 3 there. I tell you what, this is so much fun. I love Fridays, but I love every single day. And this studio that you guys see, it's just the beginning. I can't wait. Probably just another week or so before I can tell you the entirety of what we will be doing. But as I keep telling you, think bigger. Think bigger. And with that being said, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, love them all. Chip Patterson, Emory Hunt, AB, Jake the Snake on the ones and the twos. I am the coach. Tell all your friends. There's only one brand you even need to worry about. Have a little bit of fun. You'll learn a lot, and we all meet up. You know where. The pay window. Right here on the Early Edge. Good luck.